Okay. So I'm going to try to just give you hints what to look out for. There's already a review in Canvas, so I advise you to look at that if you haven't already. But I'm also going to tell you some more information what to look out for. Okay. So number one, um, be able to identify the sample and population and the population of interest. I think that's a phrasing they use in the homework. Make sure you have your definitions. From chapter 1. There's like a bunch on like a nominal, ordinal, descriptive. I'm just giving you a couple. There's a lot of them, etc. So you want to put them all on one page, just have all definitions that you remember uh, being quizzed on, chapter 1. That should be good. Know the difference between qualitative, quantitative. Again, chapter 1 stuff, right? Like the definition itself, but also like if you see a data set or an example or a table, be able to determine, is this a qualitative set or a quantitative? So know the definition, but also know how to spot it. Does that make sense? Okay. I guess I'll write that in words here. Be able to determine if something is qualitative or quantitative. Know the difference between continuous and discrete. Be able to determine what the response variable is of an experiment is. Be able to calculate proportions from a table. Be able to determine if a distribution is skewed to the left or right. They're just skewed in general. Like, can you tell, or how do you know, basically? Given data, be able to put them what's it called? Let me see. Into a frequency distribution. And find frequency, relative frequency, etc. Basically, I think it was test 2 kind of stuff. Test 1, maybe. You had like a table of numbers. You remember? I think think StackCrunch did a little bit better with frequency, but I think both could do it. Same with TI-84. What does it mean for a statistic to be resistant? Be able to construct a box plot and give a 5-number summary. Also, looking at the box plot, understanding ideas of skewed might come up. So, like, depending where it's at, how it's shaped, amount of space, but look at skewed stuff when pertaining to box plots. I'll turn the page in a second. Okay, you guys cool on this page? No rush you. Okay. What number was that? Well, given a table, be able to calculate probabilities actually, hold on, it's wrong. Yeah, you know what, let me start that over. I'm sorry. Given a table, be able to determine if it is a probability distribution. Given a sample space, be able to calculate probability of an event. Be able to calculate the probability of something like this. We combine two different events, A or B, and probability of A and B. And give you a formula for each one. And then also dependent if they were they're independent or dependent. The formula slightly changed or the approach changed. I guess I should write that too. This is kind of a sub part of 14. Be able to determine if two events or sets, right, are independent or dependent. Given a table, be able to calculate conditional probability. It was a probability of A given B or B given A. I forget how I wrote it. You remember? It's like, I think we had an example where we had a male and female, and there was like two things going on. He said, well, what is the probability that this happened given that that person selected at random is female? So given that this happened, or I'm choosing from this set, what's the chances of whatever happening? That's what conditional is. I think that was towards the end of the probability chapter. So you just make sure you look up the conditional formula and some examples in case you forgot. I'm sure you know how to do this one, but be able to calculate probability, which is the same as the area, using z-scores and the normal distribution. Sorry, I'm looking up some notes real quick. It is chapter 9 stuff. Yeah. Be able to do proportion questions or problems from 9.1. So basically we have the probability, I think it was written this way, that p hat is greater than some number. Do you remember? Is those type. So you change it to a z and just find the area. So is the proportion bigger than this number, or is it less than this number, or is it between two numbers? I'm gonna put z because eventually that's what you're doing. We have to do problems from I think it was 9.2. Let me double check. Yeah. It was a population meme. Memes. Basically, it was questions involving the X bar. Using the T distribution. You know, it's like, what's the what number or proportion or what probability is above or is X bar above this number? Okay. I think also did confidence intervals and said, okay, X bar is around here. So you would just do pretty much the same as 18. You have a specific formula to change the number into the D-score. You look it up on the tape chart. It's to the right. You do 1 minus. Yeah.
But in this feature, does it the same one you gave us for like the last exam, or are there any different ones?
Yeah, it's the same one. Same as that one. Z1 distribution. I think that's all we're going to need. Those formulas. Okay. Able to do confidence intervals for proportions. They give you a formula that was like p hat plus that z alpha over 2 times the square root thing. Do you remember? So you would just find that interval. Confidence intervals. Be able to find the point estimate for the mean and its confidence interval. Last thing, be able to, yes, sorry. Be able to determine the null slash alternative hypothesis and calculate p-values and interpret. You know what? I'll do that on the next page. I'm gonna space. So reading the question just for 22, figure out what is the null and alternative hypothesis. That's it. Just choose them. And also, is it two-tailed, one-tailed? Is it less than or unequal? Do you remember? Like those, that's what I mean by 22. Okay. And I'll turn the page in a sec. Number 9? Oh, you missed it? Yeah. Number 9 was given data, be able to put them into a frequency distribution and find the frequency for each category, relative frequency, all that stuff. So basically, one of the questions, kind of similar question to exam, I think 2 or 1. Relative frequency, what is it? That's like E, etc. Right. Are you guys cool on this page? MT3. Trying to give you as much info as I can. There's no surprises. MT3, be able to calculate the test statistic and p-value (24) be able to interpret them the test statistic and p-value to reject or accept the null hypothesis. Yeah, okay. So I went through every question on the final and try to give you hints. So should be no surprises. Of course, there's more details to some of the questions. Some of them have 3 parts. Some is just true or false, right? Like what is, I don't know, qualitative, right? You just choose Is this qualitative, yes or no? Stuff like that. Some are harder. No, it'll be very similar to the last test, but there's a couple where there's just two options. So. Kind of, not really. So there'll be a few, I guess the stuff on chapter 1 will be kind of like multiple choice, and then right after that, it starts going back to similar to test 2 and 3. Okay.
So this will be about like a formula sheet.
Yeah, bring whatever you like. Just get it done. You have your computer, so just do your best. All I can tell you is you have a time limit. So come prepared. It is long. It's like, I think it's approaching 30 questions. Some of those have multiple parts. Some are long, some are short. Okay. And I've given you as many hints as I could, and there's also a review in Canvas. So watch the review, look over the notes, and go back to see what you forgot. Okay. Should be good, but it's over the entire class, so prepare accordingly. Do you have any questions? No, it's at least 25 questions for sure. I still haven't graded the last test. I need to go in there. I think it's showing really low grades because I haven't graded your work or the answers. I forgot. Check those.